So, hi, everybody. I can't believe it. We're already to day 4 of the Unsummit for Leading Leaders Unsummit mini mastermind. So, hopefully, you've been following along on all the other videos. If you haven't, then this is the 4th day in the series, and you can watch the other ones and catch up. But really wanted to spend some time with you today to talking about what a transformational leader really is. And you may have your own definition. For me, it's about inspiring people to step up into their genius. It's all about inspiring ourselves to be empowered to make changes within ourselves personally, within our mindset, within our lifestyles, within the way we choose to show up as leaders, all of the self-care, personal mastery, and then that steps into how we show up in our leadership roles. And so I'm really excited to talk with you a little bit more about what a transformational leader looks like and how you can really embody that mindset. So I've already been talking with you about that all this week and giving you tools and strategies to do that. But today I really wanted to talk with you about the mindset piece. And as you know, if you heard my other presentation and other pieces, for me, mindset is one of my most crucial foundational building blocks. So when that mindset piece is being taken care of and I'm cultivating good practices regularly, I'm getting good supports through my life for a variety of things, then I can show up as my best self. When I let things go, like I don't do a morning mindset pieces, or I'm not doing my self-care and exercise, or, maybe I haven't been eating well or sleeping as well, or I'm kind of, letting world events take over versus my internal mindset really leading the way. And it can be totally night and day. So this is for why for me, the exhale and thrive approach is so important that we really need to remember to take time to exhale, to unwind, to reflect, to go inward, to connect with our intuition, connect with our bigger picture, creativity, strategy, mindset, innovation, inspiration. And then when you can do that, then you can show up as the visionary transformational leader that you want to be, that you are, but sometimes can get lost in the day-to-day stresses and pressures of work and leading organizations and personal life stuff, having physical bodies, having families and people we care for, and all of the different things coming together. So, blah, 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 all of it coming together. So, really, I wanted to share with you a little bit about what a transformational leader is to me. This is something I've been talking about for a couple of years now, really because of the work that I've done at the national level in my director role, and then now again at the national level within my federal government job. And so it's not just a team anymore. And it's not just directing staff one to one anymore. It really changed into how do we lead leaders? And that's where the leading leaders title for my summit came from, was how do we influence and inspire leaders to then take things on so that they then can inspire the people that they are leading and have them take it on. And so it's a really, I found very subtle and very powerful, but also almost elusive thing. And so I was thinking, well, how do I describe this to people? How do I talk about it to people? And it turns out there's actually a whole body of work around transformational leadership. But what I wanted to share with you today was really my perspective of it. So for me, it's all around being a visionary thinker, someone who can really paint a picture of where we are going together as an organization, despite any challenges or complex things within our lives or within our organization or industry or society as a whole. How can we lift up above all of that? So it's just little ants on the ground, and we are seeing the bigger picture and with clarity and confidence. The other one is really around empowering others, like I talked about yesterday in day 3, kind of empowering and encouraging ownership of the people that we lead so that they can really be responsible for the things that they're involved with, but not just on a basis, but really on a big holistic perspective. If there's something that needs to be done, how are all the pieces fitting together? Are they making sure that the pieces are flowing smoothly? Are they collaborating with the stakeholders and the teams that they need to collaborate with well? Are there hiccups? How do they work through all those things? And so this ownership through empowerment, I think, is huge. And then when we do that, we can uplift others to bring their genius to work. So then they become visionary leaders themselves. And then the trickle effect is amazing. The other one is around influencing with purpose. So really making sure that our presence, our communication, the intentions we have behind any interaction are really strong and really clear. Because when we have that, then we can have the outcomes that we want to have. If we show up rushed, if we show up stressed, if we feel like we're stuck in negative mindset or anxiety or any of that kind of rush energy, we're not going to have the impact that we want to have. The hard part comes in is that life pushes us into that sometimes. And the more we see that stuff, the harder it is. I saw a really great visual online yesterday, and this lady was holding a big kind of sea sponge. It looked almost like a brain, which I think might have been deliberate. But if you can imagine this huge sponge, like a bumpy sponge, not a cut square one, but like a bumpy sponge that comes from nature, and she's pouring liquid on it. And she says, we never know how much we can handle until we can't anymore. So she's pouring the liquid in as if it's like the impact of life. If you think about our leadership roles, our personal life obligations, our self-care pieces, all of these get poured in. And then she said, and we never know how much we're going to be able to hold until we can't hold it anymore. And you can see the liquid now pouring out from below the sponge onto the table and onto the floor. And she keeps pouring it. I'm thinking, oh, she's making a mess, but that really wasn't her priority. Her priority is to make the message, make the point. We never know how much we can hold. And then we feel bad about ourselves when we start making mistakes, when we start forgetting things, when we start maybe being reactive to somebody when we don't really want to be, because we have reached our capacity. And so I really wanted to share that visual with all of you today because it's not the sponge's fault that the liquid came out the other side. It just reached its max capacity. And so what we need to do, and what is really one of my signature approaches, is around this inside out approach. What can we do to shift how we are showing up as a sponge so we can actually kind of take some of that, pressure from life away so that we have more capacity to hold more space for those that we lead, to hold space for ourselves to be visionary leaders. And so it was really exciting visual, and hopefully it's helpful for you to imagine that as well. That if we are a sponge and the liquid's just coming out, it's okay. We just need to give the sponge some time to unwind, to exhale, to let go of some of that pressure and obligation from every day so we can show up as a fully present and available sponge instead of a totally saturated and not able to take on anything more. And then really around the next couple points was around driving innovation. So really, how do we encourage innovation? And what I really find works for me is creating this space for our sponge to be restored to full capacity again. And when we can do that within our teams, so when we understand we're going through push phases where there's a lot of high pressure, there's a lot of intense things going on, maybe deadlines, maybe organizational change, maybe new projects or new customers or whatever it's going to be for your organization or your teams, we need to think about their sponge brains too, and how are they doing, and are we giving them space to recharge as well? And if we're not, then our innovation is going to suffer. But if we can do that, then our innovation can just go through the roof. And it's so cool when this happens. And then finally, leading with authenticity. And this is something that I've been practicing and growing skills in for a long time now. I originally used to get to be very professional. And I remember being told once, Sarah, you're too professional, stop it. You need to be more human, not just always, the nice polished version of myself at work, which came for a reason. It came because of the way people were treating me as a young woman in the workforce. I needed to have a professional barrier and boundary there to make sure that people were, reacting appropriately. But then as I matured, I was able to, have kind of strong boundaries without it being so firm. And so that then allowed for authenticity to really come forward. Now, maybe you've gone through a similar journey yourself of, developing this authenticity. And one of the things that I've been doing lately is transformative communication. And so the idea around this would be throwing out your agenda for a meeting, still having the key points, but instead of going through it like a robot, you just hold open space for the conversation. And what's been really cool is the way these conversations can go. I used this with the equity committee that I was leading, and we would have amazing conversations because we weren't following it robotically. There was room for authentic, uncomfortable, challenging, innovative conversations. And so I'd love to share that more with you if you want to learn more about that. So, as you reflect here, my invitations for you is how do you define transformational leadership for you? What does that look like? Are you already showing up like that? If you're not, what could that, what could change to be able to create that for you? And is there anything about a transformational leader that you know that you admire? And what qualities do they embody? And how can you bring that into your own leadership? And then next, I want to talk with you a little bit about transforming to a transformational leader and away from the management piece. So, really, it's about moving from leading to inspiring. There's a really great quote from the uh, Tao of Leadership book. If you've never read it before, I highly recommend it. I just recently pulled it out after 10 years of being on my shelf and carrying it around with me. And it basically says, I didn't pull it up. That'd be fun, but it's back there on my bookshelf. It basically says the leader has succeeded when the people say they did it themselves. And this is where I believe true leadership and transformational leadership comes from. And that sort of also speaks to a bit of a servant leadership perspective, but I believe transformational leadership is beyond that. It's not just serving other people and uplifting them, but inspiring them to go beyond what they even think is even possible. So, as I kind of wrap this up, I just want to share the three pillars of transformational leadership: vision over management, like I talked about, empowering over controlling, and then using your influence over authority. So, my question would be for you as we are wrapping up this week together, what are you taking away for actions? Is there something you need to transform in your mindset so that you can truly step into your transformational leadership self? And is there one small action you'd like to take? So that's what I'd like to leave you with today as we close out this week. And we will come back tomorrow on Friday at noon Pacific, which will be 3 p.m. Eastern. And we will work through this together. We will build your transformational leader action plan so that you can get clarity on your mindset pieces, on your self-care pieces, the personal mastery, and then also your leadership perspective, how you want to show up every day, and what things you need to adjust a little bit so that you can show up as your most powerful, visionary, transformational leadership self. And I'm so excited to walk through this journey with you. Please feel free to share your comments or reach out to me personally if you have questions. And I wanted to let you know I have the application form ready for the Transformational Leader Mastermind. I'm calling it Transformed. It's going to be a 12-month mastermind for, I'm opening 5 spots right now, but the most I'll have is 10. I want to keep it a really small, focused, and intimate group so everybody can get one-to-one support. And so within that, I just wanted to share with you a little bit of what that's going to look like. So we already know that your leadership is at a high level. You came to this workshop because you wanted to take it to the next level. And so I really want to give you a bit of a kind of a taster, to really get an idea of what being in a mastermind container could look like with me, what kind of content we would talk about, how that feels. And so that's what, really inspired this mini mastermind this week. So, like I've said before, the key to thriving as a leader and personally is not about doing more. It's about mastering the balance between bold execution and intentional reflection and leadership. Like I said, I find the missing piece in our action-driven society is really taking time to know when you need to pause, recalibrate, and lead with wisdom. Like I've said, with that little sponge, really making sure that we prioritize that piece. And when that happens, then things are ready to be amazing. Then everything gets easier. Then you still have to do work, but it happens almost naturally. Like you say, you don't want to actually you don't think about picking something up when you pick something up. You just have an intention of picking something up. And that's what it can be like when we have these things all nicely flowing together. So, throughout my signature inside out approach, which I've talked about with you all before, we really focus on the internal pieces, the mindset, the energy, the confidence, all of that. And then we get into how we interact with the teams, how we interact with the organization. How are we going to lead transformation from there? So this is really not meant to be a course. It's going to be a done with you transformation journey. So inside the mastermind, I'm going to be there as your strategic advisor, your leadership trainer, a personal mindset and personal mastery expert. I will also be your management consultant, your sounding board, and I also want to bring in a couple fun assessments as well. So I've recently become certified as an emotional intelligence or EQ certification person. So I can provide a certification to, or not certification, I am certified. I would provide an opportunity for you to do an assessment, and then we could do debrief coaching on that. And it will measure you on 15 different emotional intelligence areas like assertiveness, emotional awareness, confidence, lots of different things. If you're interested, I'm happy to share more about that with you all. And so, what's really cool is it gives you a bit of an idea of where you are today, and then it gives you an idea of where you may want to grow. So, the thing about emotional intelligence compared to like a personality assessment is that emotional intelligence will be something that you can grow and develop where a personality trait may be something that is more standardized. It might shift over time, but really it's more a set piece, whereas emotional intelligence is something that you can grow and develop. So it's really cool. And then I've also used Clifton Strengths Assessment quite a few years now with my one-to-one clients. So I want to bring that in as well. So we do the Clifton Strengths Assessment, and then we can look at where your strengths are. Because I found knowing and understanding whether you're a relationship based person or an analytical based person will make a very different approach on how you want to show up with your teams, how you want to ask to be supported. For me, I'm a strategic person. So when I have opportunities to bring my strategic mindset in, then I feel like I'm fully thriving and fulfilled. So the idea around this mastermind, and I'll share the links to apply later, but I just wanted to share with you because I'm so excited. I've really taken what I've been building for this last year in my head and really wanted to spice it up and make it super fun and impactful for all of you. So it's going to have one-to-one, so private coaching calls every 2 months throughout the year. And then if you pay in full, you can get monthly coaching. And so it would basically be doubling your coaching. I'm also going to do something really fun that I haven't done before. And the first month, for the first month of the mastermind, I will offer you Telegram support through voice messaging and texting throughout that entire month. So we can really focus in on your transformational leadership plan, whatever that's going to be. If you're changing culture, if you're putting together some new policies, if you're standing up, new organization or changing your structure or whatever that's going to be, we'll spend a full month together, one-on-one in your own voice note chat to be able to kind of flesh that out together. I think that's going to be really fun. So I'm excited about that one. We're also going to have monthly mastermind calls where we'll get together as a group. You're going to all be able to have hot seat coaching together and learn from each other, which is really powerful, as you've seen already. Then we'll also be sharing some exclusive trainings, some of my internal kind of methodologies like my inside out scheduling, the focused year framework, my exhale and thrive kind of approach, my thrive matrix, and a bunch more. Those are just kind of like the basics, the foundations. Of course, you're going to have an elite network of the people that you're going to be meeting within the mastermind, and then the assessments like I talked about. So this is really for people that are leaders of leaders. Well, it could be valuable for everyone. I'm looking for a certain level of person to be in this group so that we can learn from each other. So if you're a leader of other leaders, so you may be a CEO, a director on a board, or a director in an organization, a vice president, a regional manager, or some kind of senior executive, this would be great for you. You would also be good for you if you're committed to investing in high impact growth and ready to create a return on investment right now. This is not something that you might be interested in later, but today you've already been looking and this is the exact thing, then this will be for you. This will also be great if you're looking for a high level advisor, not just another leadership course, like I mentioned. And then especially when it comes to me as a coach, it's important that you value both strategy and heart. The head, the brain and the heart, or the strategy and intuition, that I believe personally that when we have the intersection of both of those, that's where we can be both powerful and influential and aligned with ease. So the Investment, I've tried to make super no-brainer here for all of you because I want to get this started and make it easy. So it's going to be only 5,000 for the entire year if you pay in full, or you can do monthly installments of 500 a month, and then that would come to a $6,000 total. When you do the pay in full, you would get extra one-to-one sessions, like I mentioned, or if you want to do a monthly rate, that's fine as well. For those of you that have a corporate training budget or a coaching budget, I'm happy to put together a customized invoice for you so that can go through your financial office if that's going to be better for you. So just want to let you know that, like I mentioned, this is going to be only open to 5 leaders right now. If I have more than 5 that want to start, that would be amazing. So the max is going to be 10. Really want to keep this a private, high level, lots of attention for you kind of container. Plus, I work full time still, so I want to balance out my other obligations too. So if you're interested, what I can do is I can send you a link to the application form. I'm going to be asking everyone to apply first to make sure that I am, and inviting people in that are going to be a great fit, and this will be super beneficial for you right now. And if it isn't a great fit right now, no worries. We'll have lots of other cool things happening this upcoming year. And there will be more opportunities to apply in the future, though I'm not necessarily going to be keeping it at this level of investment. I'm deliberately doing that at a lower level right now to be able to help people do my first founders group and to really give me an opportunity to try out the different things, see what works, get some amazing testimonials, and make an amazing impact with you and your organization. So excited to share it with you. So thank you for listening in on it. If you have any questions, please just private message me in LinkedIn, and I'd be happy to, do a little bit of a back and forth voice conversation if you want to talk about it. Or like I said, if you have a corporate kind of thing that you actually have some folks on your team that you'd like to have multiple people enrolled, just let me know, and you can put that in the application form, and then I'll reach out to you and we can talk about the details. So super excited to support 5 of you in this program. We will get started as soon as the 1st of April. This kind of enrollment period is going to be open until the 31st of March, the day after my birthday. So I'm going to be, inviting all of you that are in the mastermind right now, the mini mastermind. You get first options to apply, and then I'll be opening it to the rest of my network and my newsletter subscribers and the people that have been following me for a while. But I wanted to give you all priority application status first because I know that these is going to be an amazing opportunity and the spots are going to fill up pretty quick. So let me know if you have any questions. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow on Friday for our final session together, where we will pull all of the things that you've learned this week into a custom action plan for you to be your most transformational leader self from now and into the future. So thanks, everyone. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.